Hello and welcome to Boomer Live once again. When we came for the preview, we had a couple of wishes, and I had told Sandeep Bani पैसा वसूल करना है तो विराट कोहली का सेंचुरी तो बनता है उसका बर्थडे में. And Sandeep Bani who's already enjoyed the game. It's gotten to witness history right in front of his eyes. Virat Kohli scores his 49th 100, and he has scored it 175 innings earlier than Sachin Tendulkar. So he can get out for 175 more innings for zero and still break Sachin's record. That's one thing with him. But as Sachin tweeted, I hope you don't have to wait 365 days, rather a few days to get to that magical number of 50. But what a day. India have gone on to thrash South Africa by 243 runs and have now sealed the top spot in the World Cup. So India will not be moving from the top spot. And to add to that, Jadeja, who played a cameo and also picked up a five for today. All in all, this Indian team is one of the most deadliest and one of the most monstrous team you can get there. And this is the same kind of domination what India has in test matches, what they're displaying in the one-day format right now. I have Jaren with me. Jaren, just talk about that team, man. This team is cooking like real hot right now.
I'll be very frank, Gable. I don't know what to say. I'm as speechless as all the South African batters were today. I mean, what do you say to this kind of performance? It's just clinical. It's not even clinical. It is it's proper schooling that has happened today. I mean, when we saw the match initially itself, we knew it was a tough pitch to bat on, and that India were playing like, it was almost like India were playing like the pitch didn't matter. And you saw the team struggling early on, but what an innings from Shreyas Iyer and Virat Kohli. I know I was going through the internet and I saw a lot of people saying that Virat and Shreyas are not showing intent, but I just felt that was really not understanding the pitch and not understanding how difficult it is to bat on that pitch. Because if anyone saw that Shubman Gill dismissal, they probably would say that this was not a three. It was not a 325 pitch. It was a ridiculous amount of runs that India scored. It
Yeah,
almost feels like India were using what do you say? India were using a beginner level mode in a video game.
yeah.
This is not supposed to happen on such a wicket. And the fact that South Africa, one of the best batting lineups in this tournament, probably even better than India in some of the matches that they've played, absolutely crumbled. And I just felt, I genuinely felt today South Africa would challenge India with the bat. And that's not because India is a bad bowling team whatsoever, because I just felt that you might come in. It was a hot day for sure. And you just felt like by the 25th over, Dew might come in. But the match didn't even go till the 28th over, 25th. By the time Dew came, South Africans were already thinking. I think the biggest decision South Africa had to make was whether we should play Lungi Ngidi or not in this match, and that's
Yeah.
how clinical India was. And it's great as a fan, but I suppose it's not great for cricket when one team starts steamrolling other teams like this.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen these kind of dominances from maybe Australia of 2003 and 7, where they were
Yes.
unbeaten throughout the tournament. They went on to steamroll opposite. You're getting similar vibes from this team because of the
Yeah.
very factor that how they've been able to win these. These are not small wins or these are not mere margin wins. You're talking about defeating the number two team on the table by 243 runs, getting them balled out less than 100, and Virat Kohli defeating them alone by 18 runs. Now that's what we are talking about. I mean, that's crazy to talk. I mean, it's just only iconic for number 18 to defeat another team by 18 runs on his birthday. I mean, let's just talk about this guy. I mean, Virat Kohli. As you mentioned, a lot of people were questioning that innings as to whether it was fast or slow. Was he batting the situation? Was he batting for the milestone? But he showed, right? You needed someone there to bind things. There could have been a collapse which could have happened. New batters found it difficult on the wicket. It wasn't easy for any new batters. Maybe Jadeja was the only new batter who came and who was able to play some shots. Other than that, every new batter had to buy his time. And South Africa, you saw no new batter were even settled throughout. That's one of the reasons why they managed to just score 83 in that whole innings.
Oh no, I think the only reason why even Jadeja came in and played that innings able is because he was still facing Marco Jansen, Lungi Ngidi, Rabada, who were offering pace on the ball. I don't think any batter who came in when Maharaj was bowling could survive there, by trying to be aggressive, because he was bowling perfect lengths, the kind of length that I think the only one who matched Jadeja was Keshav Maharaj when it came to his bowling. But the difference between the two teams was that India were able to play it out thanks to Kohli and Shreyas Iyer. I think the story could have been very similar if India hadn't shown, if both these lads hadn't shown the grit they did, because you saw what a Jadeja did, and that's how beautifully was Maharaj bowling. Maharaj was not someone like Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer, who are probably the two best players of spin in the team, especially a Shreyas Iyer. Now I can still understand Virat has had
Yeah,
issues with left arm spin in the past, but a Shreyas Iyer, the way he played, he was not able to get uh, someone like Maharaj out of the 30-yard circle. To be very frank, I think one more thing that really worked for India's favor was Shamsi and his absolutely rubbish bowling. I think that's the best way to describe it. He was too
yeah,
short, too full. It was a Shamsi. It was a Shamsi that you saw 5-6 years before, right, when he was very raw. He's really improved that bowling. He's gotten his length right, but I think today, in many ways, they were just milked around. He bowled. He also kept bowling on the pads of these batters, and I think that was
yeah,
also something really, really threw Tempa Bauma's plans off, because both these
yeah,
batters are really strong off their feet,
absolutely.
and I just feel in that sense India's bowling was a lot better, but I think those two lads and their grit really showed India, and you also felt the fact that they preserved those wickets is also the reason why India did that well.
Absolutely. India's power play total was 92 rather, 91. And India's power play total won the game alone against South Africa, which South Africa managed to score 83. Now that's a crazy stat, isn't it? How often does your power play total go on to defeat the other team? Even against Sri Lanka, our power play total defeated Sri Lanka alone. So I think India's right now the biggest aim is to win the power play and to win the game. And today you always had this feeling that you win the toss and you win the game, and it was even more prominent after you winning the toss against South Africa. But now this is a serious issue for South Africa, isn't it? That they've not been able to chase totals down, and they're putting themselves under so much of pressure while chasing without any plan, without any intent, and that's not doing them any help, because come the semi-final or final, this is only gonna get harder, because remember, most likely you're gonna be playing an Australian team in Eden Gardens, and then if you're gonna be chasing there, you're gonna have a very similar situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another issue with that team now, right now, South Africa, is that I think in many ways, one of the bigger issues for this team is also the fact that they're not able to face off in the power play. I just feel when they're batting first, sometimes you feel like Quinton de Kock and Temba Bavuma aren't really sure of what to do in a power play, because when they're batting first, they pretty much know their idea is to preserve wickets, not make sure you have a position towards the end. But I just feel like from the power play onwards, they're genuinely struggling, and which is very odd, because I just feel that if you're able to bat first and set up a target, the way cricket is being played right now, you would say that it's easier to chase, right? I mean, basically, what is
Yeah,
setting it, even when you're setting a target nowadays, what a team does is, they envision a target, they believe at least by the end of the power play or by the end of the 20th over, they know the kind of target they're going to reach. And from there on, the only thing that happens is it's a little bit more flexible, I understand, compared to chasing a target. But I just feel the South African team has got some of the best batters out there. I think David Miller, for instance, Aiden Markram, I wouldn't say Heinrich Klaassen so much, but these two players especially, they know how to chase down totals. They're really good towards the death. You've seen Aiden Markram anchor innings before, and David Miller really destroy teams before in a chasing situation. So I
yeah,
don't know
absolutely.
what is the issue at this point in time. It's just an absurd one. It's something that's unexplainable. I think it's inexplicable, to be very frank.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't pinpoint fingers and say maybe this is a reason. I think they need to be more clear with their plans, is what I feel. I mean, they've been falling off
Hmm.
on their plans as to how to go about targets, unlike how they are batting first. And batting first, their plans are very clear, like how we're going to bat in the first 40 overs, then how we're going to accelerate from there on. So I think that's where they've wavered so much in terms of their chasing. But let's just talk about what do you see this Indian team do from here on? I mean, Virat Kohli, do you see that 100 come in Bangalore? Or do you want it to come in a final or a semi-final?
I'll be very frank. I just want him to keep scoring. He's batting like a dream right now. And I think one of the best things about Virat's batting at this point in time is he's just you really feel like he's enjoying himself at this point in time. Even something that you hadn't seen in so long. Remember, guys, when he was not in form, I kept telling, it just feels like there's something off about Kohli, and it just doesn't feel right the way he's playing at this point in time. It's very good to see that that Kohli is really transformed. Again, seems like he's enjoying playing batting in the middle, and at a point in time, you just feel like this guy has brought so much happiness for us. You just want him to be there and enjoy his cricket, and that's what he's doing. So, if you ask me, Abel, I want him to score 100 every match, and
Absolutely.
except for, of course, when he plays against us in the IPL. Unfortunately, I kind of lose my affection for Virat there. But same for Rohit as well. But aside from that, every match he plays, I love watching Kohli and Rohit bat. And I was really gutted when Rohit got out today, because the shots
Yeah.
that he was playing, even a Shubman Gill, right? The way they played in the first 10 overs, I think Shubman, I still was like, okay, understandable. Rohit, I really won't blame him. We just feel like that he hit that shot the best way he could.
Yeah.
Just wanted to see him go out there and score 100 because just felt like a Rohit Classic was loading.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Rohit Sharma. I mean, I think as much as we give credit to Virat Kohli and his hundreds, Rohit Sharma and his impactful 40s need that kind of, standing ovation from all of us, to be very fair. Let's just talk about the way in which he set that platform and base for a Virat Kohli or a Shreyas Iyer to take on the attack from there on. Even if you look, that Sri Lanka game was the only exception. Other than that, every single time when Rohit Sharma has gotten going, he has helped India to have that base. India India to really get going, and that power play starts which Rohit Sharma has given this team has made sure our middle order is in no trouble at all when the middle order comes into bat, and making sure that that's a major difference when it comes to setting total as well. Now, if you look at the last couple of games, especially today's game, 92 is a bigger difference between a 240, 250 and a 327 like what we did today. I mean, that's a big thing, right? This was a 245, 250 pitch, and the 91 odd runs in which Rohit Sharma was absolutely, ballistically attacking the bowlers was the ultimate difference if you look into that power total and above power total.
Oh yeah, and I think that's why South Africa probably even lost the game. I feel Marco Jansen absolutely. I think again rubbish bowling. The deploy was. I felt if Rabada had taken the new ball, right, things would have been different. Because when did the game shift towards South Africa? Is when Rabada came in, took the wicket of Rohit Sharma, and then when Virat Kohli came in after that first drive that Kohli played, everything else was beautiful bowling. Hit the deck, get the ball to move around. Imagine if he had gotten the fresh new ball in his hand, would have done a lot more damage. Unfortunately, Marco Jansen just felt like he felt the pressure, and Kolkata crowd, I think Sandipani probably contributed to it, was very gutted that he didn't get to ring the bell. I thought it's going to be him, but then Rahul Dravid is the one who rang the bell today. So I think Sandipani, being the generous goat that he is, allowed a Rahul Dravid to do it, which is pretty nice from Sandipani. But yeah, just getting back to the topic, I think you'd have to say that that kind of performance. If Jansen had gotten his length right, the idea was to get Rohit Sharma out the same way Madhushankar did. But
Yeah,
because Rabada didn't come in, I just felt like that kind of let the game away, slip, because it was asking Jansen a little bit too much. When Rohit
yeah,
Sharma, you knew was going to go after him. And I love that
yeah.
one moment where Marco Jansen balled a short delivery, and Shubman Gill, right, stood tall and pulled him over. Over that ringside. And Marco Jansen gives off that stare, the same one he gave to Mohammad Rizwan, and Shubman Gill gave it back in the best
Yeah.
possible way. I just felt
I
like
think you're
a
talking about
Virat
the
Kohli
six which
going
he
there.
hit, when Shubman Gill
Yeah.
walked down the track and hit Marco Jansen for a six,
Oh yeah, it was
and
rather that one. Correct.
it was that one. It was
Yeah,
that one you're
yeah,
talking about. Yeah, I noticed that as well. It was a very interesting moment, and you had Virat Kohli on the other side, so Marco Jansen
yes.
couldn't do anything much at that point. Though Marco Jansen is very tall and gigantic in size, but when it comes to taking on players, these two are a whole another level. Especially Virat Kohli there on his birthday wouldn't have mind to take on another player. Shreyas Iyer gets matured as a player game by game. Let's talk about Shreyas Iyer. I mean, he gave
Yeah.
away something very interesting after the game, saying that he was getting very impatient, but the team management told him to get going and get stuck in there, not to worry about what you're doing. Because at one point he was 35 balls, 11 runs, and from there on to go on to score 77 of 87 balls. That's some innings by him, because he looked very comfortable while he was towards that end of his innings. After he scored his 50, he looked extremely comfortable. He was timing the ball perfectly. He was piercing the gaps. And if he would have been there, maybe India could have scored even more 30, 40 runs with the way he was batting. He was one of the only players I saw who was able to make stroke making so easy on that pitch after Rohit Sharma's power play start.
Yeah, and I think credit has to be given to Shreyas Iyer as well, because, see, I'll be very honest. South Africa did not really try the short length delivery, and I think there came a point in time where they realized. I think there was one attempt by, I think it was Marco Jansen, who tried to bowl a short ball, but it just sat up, and Shreyas Iyer dispatched it very easily. So it was not the ideal pitch to ball short, and I think obviously Shreyas took advantage of it. That's been the one aspect of his game that is still not worked on. I still think he's a good batter when it comes to short delivery. It's just that, the same issue. If you remember Rohit Sharma, right? When he was it was a very young player in 2007 or that era. One of the bigger issues of Rohit Sharma was he was very good at pulling the ball. He would get some shots off, but he was a compulsive puller, a compulsive hooker rather. I remember he was a compulsive hooker of the ball. He used to play that hook shot way too often, way too quickly without getting into shape, especially because he has that tendency to play it off the front foot. I think Shreyas Iyer is going through something similar, and I still believe he can work on it. And the way he's practicing, one of the bigger things is the mental side of it as well. I sometimes feel
Yeah.
he's waiting for that short delivery, or he does not. It's two things, right? One, you have to be prepared to face the short delivery, but at the same time, not let it become a thing where you're so paranoid that every ball you're expecting is a short delivery. And I think Shreyas Iyer sometimes either forgets that he's going to be attacked by a short delivery, it gets takes him by surprise, or otherwise he's so paranoid, never really gets on the front foot and gets out. Today,
Absolutely.
you felt like Shreyas Iyer was in a good space of mind. He knew that the short ball is not going to work, and I think he was able to go after the ball. It's a lot more mental as well, because I still believe there are some shots you see. It's like when you see Shreyas pull, right? You don't see there's a technical issue with his pull. It's just that he gets out more often than not, lacking in execution. Like either he
Yeah.
gets a top edge or he gets it, he doesn't expect it hits a sticker. You never really
Yeah.
see him not get into the right position. So I
Hmm.
think today he felt like today there's no way a short ball would work against him, and he just made merry on it. And it was good to see that Shreyas was able to put himself stay put, because you don't really see that happen. That's not Shreyas's game. But it also
Yeah.
shows, like no one has mentioned, that he is maturing. And I think captaincy has helped him a lot. And it was his IPL franchise's home ground.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no better way to score 100 in your home ground, technically your home ground, because you're going to be captaining for Kolkata Knight Riders in the next 14 games in Kolkata whenever he comes back. But
Yeah.
having said that, we have to talk about the dominance of this pace trio, right? I mean, we've spoken about it enough time and time. It just looks like we're repeating out of every show that we're doing. But it just keeps getting better with every time we come to talk here. Mohammad Shami, once again, amongst the wickets, picked up a couple of them. Mohammad Siraj, he was outstanding, giving that important breakthrough up front. But Ravindra Jadeja, it was his day today. The pitch had a little bit of turn for the spinners, and he pounced on it, picking up a fifer. The only second left arm spinner from India to do that in a World Cup after Yuvraj Singh in 2011, and second spinner in the World Cup history to do that as well. So left arm spinner rather. But that's a crazy stat to have. That's a crazy stat to have, and him doing it against a quality team like South Africa on a pitch obviously aided spin, but he looked unplayable today.
Yeah, and I think on most days, the kind of performance that you saw from Ravindra Jadeja will win you the man of the match. What did he? He did everything that the team needed him. He took catches. He scored towards the end of the innings. He scored 29 or 15 on a pitch where everyone was struggling. I think Suryakumar Yadav as well played a very good cameo, which shouldn't be forgotten, 22 or 14. But if you look at everyone else, KL Rahul struggled really on that pitch because he came at a time where was needed to attack. Shreyas Iyer scored 88, Virat Kohli scored at 83. This is the moment power play was over, everyone struggled. And I think I remember Rohit Sharma playing a shot, right, where it was a short line delivery by Jansen, and he tried to pull the ball. He didn't get all of it, and the ball just rolled to the boundary rope. It was supposed to be a bounce four, but the moment it hit, it went like that. I realized maybe it's going to be a slower pitch, and that's precisely how it was. It was a very difficult pitch to bat, especially once the ball got older. And that's where you have to really give credit to Ravindra Jadeja. Played an innings which probably gave 30 runs extra to India. Easily, right? and then
Yeah.
came and took 5 wickets, dismantled the batting lineup, a batting lineup which has been the best spin playing team in this World Cup. So for him to do that, every other left arm spinner who came against this team has been, absolutely. These guys have ended some careers probably, considering someone like a Dulil Velalage or a Patirana. I know Patirana is not a spinner, but still, these guys have ended careers. And here comes Jadeja, takes 5 wickets. So just have to give appreciate him. If not for Kohli, would have won the man of the match.
I agree totally because that was performance of the highest order. This is why you wanted a Jadeja in your team, a complete three-dimensional player, and he showed. He was on display. He was fielding all around the park. He was just picking up all the wickets he could and scored valuable runs for us. But it wasn't to be for Virat Kohli's century. He would have gotten that man of the match. Rohit brought Jaddu in action ninth over of the game and picks up a wicket. That tells how good Rohit's captaincy is. I mean, Rohit Sharma's captaincy was pretty good. I mean, once again, he's been spot
Yeah.
on. I mean, this World Cup, Rohit Sharma as a leader, as a captain, with its tactical calls, has been a notch above everybody. And obviously, we just don't want to jinx it at this point. Let him just keep going. Whatever is touching is turning into
Let
gold.
them
And I'm
cook.
sure 3 more matches to go. Just 3 more matches away. That's what we are looking at. We're not looking at anything else. 3 games away from the greatest prize on planet. How do you see it from here on? 3 games. And who do you want to face one by one by one?
I'll be frank, I'm not going to think about it. 2019, 2015 was really excited. All the T20 World Cups, I was really excited.
But
Now I've
Jalen,
decided
telling me
no
2019, we never had
expectations.
this feel. 2019, we never felt like we were the number one team. Okay, we finished number one on the
Fair enough.
table,
Yeah.
but we always felt
I
there
think,
could be another team. 2015, you
yeah,
always knew Australia were the best team in the tournament. We always knew
absolutely.
Australia was the only team who could trouble us. And 2015, we knew 2019, we knew England was the best team in the tournament. But there hasn't been a tournament in the recent past where we went into the tournament and we felt like, okay, we are the best team in this tournament. Even if you look at the T20 World Cups of the recent past, which has happened, you always felt like it was an England team or a South Africa team or a Pakistan team who did slightly better than us. But this was the first time we're feeling like, wait a minute, we are absolutely in this.
I think I'll be frank. Some of the things that really give me hope, right, compared from 2019 or 2015, is that 2015, for instance, the only time you felt like India struggled was when Brendan. I think it was uh, the I don't remember the Zimbabwean captain, the
Brendan
wicketkeeper
Taylor.
batsman.
Yeah,
Brendan
Brendan
Taylor,
Taylor.
thank you so much. Yeah, when Brendan Taylor scored that century is the only time you felt like, okay, India is in a little bit of trouble, 2015. And then the first time we faced trouble was 2015 in the semi-finals, when India kind of gave away too many runs and then, you had to chase it down.
Yeah,
That was the only 2 times we felt like we were in trouble. The Zimbabwe game, obviously, we had the quality, the differential between the quality in two teams was so high. But in that Australia game was the first time we actually faced quality, where we were really behind the eight ball and we were against a quality side. But in this World Cup, against New Zealand, against England, I think even today to an extent when we lost those 2 wickets, we were in a little bit of trouble, right? We were in a position where the opposition had the stranglehold on the game. But we
yeah,
were able to make a comeback. We were able to come really strong. I think the England and the New Zealand game really gives me a lot of confidence. And it's also the other factor is when we are on top, we absolutely press the foot on the pedal. We do not give them any
yeah,
opportunity. So that's where you feel like this team has got something and they're enjoying themselves. It's not like there's a sense of baggage. The best fielders award, every wicket that they celebrate, the camaraderie in this team. There's something about this team. A team is in a good place when they're just going out there having fun and they're enjoying the cricket. So
So
in
this
those
was this
things,
is so much like the under
yeah,
19 World Cup team of 2018. And we blazed through the oppositions, and it was a team of full of stars, and no team could even come near us. I mean, that's a performance which had Shubman, Prithvi, and Shivam Mavi, Nagarkoti, and all these lads was there in that team, and nobody could really stop us at that time. To be very honest, and we went to the finals, demolished Australia, demolished Pakistan in the semi-finals. I mean, it would be
yeah.
similar route if Pakistan come to us in the semi-finals. I don't think a Pakistan team could really stop us either. And to be very honest, let's be clear. If only team could stop us is us ourselves at this point. Until and unless we have some rotten luck or things don't go our way, I don't think there's any team at this point in the tournament who can stop us. So Mohan says Netherlands, Afghanistan, South Africa will be our way to go. And there's a question on Joshua's, how has this result affected the fourth spot in the full semi-final? Okay, let's look at the table and let's talk about how things stand as of now, because this is where things get really interesting. Looking at the table, what's the net run rate? Uh, who do we face, and who are the possible winners? Who could we possibly face? That's what we're going to be talking about. Yeah, so we have it on the screen right now. The top teams right now. If you look, India and South Africa have qualified. Let's just put a Q next to them. India and South Africa have qualified, so South Africa will not drop down to a fourth position from here on. So South Africa will anyways be playing the second semi-final in Eden Gardens. But the biggest question is, who is India going to face? Will it be Pakistan, Afghanistan, or New Zealand? For New Zealand on the other end, if they win against Sri Lanka, even by a margin of 1 run, Pakistan will have to defeat England by 130 odd runs. And if they just pile up the runs more and more and more, the runs just keep going up. That is, if they defeat if they defeat Sri Lanka by 70 runs, then Pakistan will have to defeat England by 200 runs. So at this point, India might most likely face New Zealand until and unless an Afghanistan team decides let's win the next two matches, and then you're going to see an Afghanistan India semi final.
Yeah, I think I'll be very frank. So, here's the thing about right now the position being. First off, I think it's great to see Pakistan and South Africa helping each other. South Africa helped Pakistan defeat New Zealand and stay in the World Cup, and then Pakistan helped South Africa when basically return gift by helping them qualify yesterday by beating New Zealand, which we haven't spoken about. Absolutely ballistic that Fakhar Zaman went.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
a point in time, you just felt like Fakhar Zaman was not hitting those balls, but
yeah,
rather just taking the ball and throwing it into the in
yeah,
as far as he could. He
yeah.
was like everything came out of the middle of his bat.
There's a classic
But yeah, I mean, just
Chinnaswamy ground knock, a batter comes
of
and
course,
blazes away.
of course, yeah. But I mean, it is still good to see the way that they played, and they did fight. And I think for the first time, it was good to see that our neighbors had some fighting spirit. Even Babar,
Yeah.
for nothing else, struck above us 100 runs, and I think that's the way he should play. And if he continues to play
I
like
don't think
this,
he
but he
struck above
needs
100. He was below 100 even there. Fakhar Zaman, who struck close to
but
200, is
it's
the reason
way
why.
better than
But yeah, but
it's
Fakhar
way better
Zaman's
than
knock
80.
should be one of the hundreds of the tournament. If Pakistan
Absolutely,
qualifies into the semi-final, I mean, he is coming and he's like a breath of fresh air all of a sudden for
yes,
Pakistan. That knock was knock of the highest order. Let's be honest. I mean, the way in which he tongued ballers. I mean, you can all say about small ground and whatnot, but that knock was just class. He was a man on a mission yesterday, and that's what really helped Pakistan to win. If you look at the game, if Fakhar Zaman would have gotten an out, and if Dakota Lewis would have come back, I would have never made it. So Fakhar Zaman knew when to take the calculated risk, when to target the ballers. If you remember, right before the second rain break, which abandoned the game, he took Sodhi for 18, 19 runs in an over. That really put them under
yeah,
back foot for New Zealand. From there on, Pakistan was the only team who could have won if there was a rain halt there. But even with that knock, you never know. Pakistan could have possibly chased a 400 down. So let's be very
yeah,
honest. Let's not say New Zealand were unlucky or something of that sort. Pakistan deserved that win, and Pakistan will be
yeah,
very
absolutely.
happy. But the only issue for them is they I think it's a little too late for them at this point, because if New Zealand gets a result of any sort, do you reckon Pakistan can defeat England by a 150 200 run margin?
No, I think there is a lot still there, with the fact that New Zealand are really in the doldrums, and it's interesting to see now. The question is not whether New Zealand can perform well. I mean, I think it's obviously Pakistan will need either of the two things, right? I'll tell you some of the things that really are making Pakistan the favorites to still make it to the top four. One is obviously the fact that New Zealand is absolutely in the doldrums, as I mentioned. Secondly, England are also in the doldrums. If there's
Yeah,
one team in this World Cup that can lose by the amount of margin you have mentioned, David, it's England. They've lost like this before, but it was
yeah,
good to see how they played against Australia. They did bring out the fight. They messed up really badly in that second innings. But the way they bowled, which has been the major concern, it was really good to see that. The fact that they fought till the end against that Australian team, which has also been very clinical after their first few losses, it was good to see. So they will take some pride out of it, but still they did mess up. They was in a winning situation from there for them to lose. So, and also New Zealand being the fact that you never know. Sri Lanka has also been very mercurial. The way they beat England, nobody expected that. Could be Sri Lanka's day as well. And the fact that
Absolutely.
any team after scoring 400 losing like that will destroy their confidence. So I think there are
Yeah,
some
I agree
things
with you.
that are causing they might just cause the wind to blow Pakistan's way.
Absolutely. So you are going to really hope that New Zealand loses to Sri Lanka, which is technically possible. It's obviously possible. Sri Lanka is not a bad team; they can defeat anybody on their day. But at the same time, Pakistan will still have to hope the results go their way. But they'll have to
Yeah.
also focus on their own result because England will be really pushing at this point to get a win against the Netherlands and then push for the Champions Trophy. They'll know that Champions Trophy of 2025 should be earned by them, and they do anything possible to get that win and secure that eighth position and sit comfortably. So that's how England will be looking at it at this point, the stage. But if England gets a win, and then Pakistan is all done. But before that, Afghanistan is also there in this race. How do you see
Yes.
Afghanistan go against Australia and South Africa?
I think today's win might just give Afghanistan a lot of confidence. The way South Africa handled spin, right?
Yeah,
That's going to make the Afghani spinners really lick their lips. If Afghanistan can win the toss, put South Africa to bat, or maybe otherwise, put South Africa to chase rather, not bat, make South Africa chase. It's possible that they can do the same thing that happened today, probably even better. I think
absolutely.
although a lot of things will matter on how the pitch behaves, because South Africa are playing Afghanistan I think in a much more favorable ground, Narendra Modi Stadium. But you remember Adam Zampa and Adil
Yeah,
Rashid both bowled well in that ground when
yeah,
they played a day and night match last time around. Adam
yeah,
Zampa was the one who cleaned up England's lower middle order. Could be
yeah,
possible that something similar can be done by Nabi, Noor Ahmed, Rashid Khan, who are all returning to a place where they've really done well in the IPL. So
yeah.
I think in that sense, it's possible for Afghanistan. You would still say Afghanistan has the best possible opportunity because they've played one less match than both New Zealand and Pakistan at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, Afghanistan, if they get an Australia win, all of a sudden, I think they go into that South Africa game as strong favorites. Because if
Yeah,
they can get over that hurdle in Wankhede, then boy oh boy, that Afghanistan team is a team to beat then. Because even if India faces them in the semi-final in Wankhede there, you never know. You never know because that Afghanistan team can be a scary team to face because of their mercurial and match-winning spinners. Everybody is a match winner in that team, and let's just give. And
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why when we talk about Pakistan, we talk about New Zealand. Pakistan has been heavily reliant on luck this World Cup. Let's be honest. Pakistan has just thrived on luck in this World Cup. But if you're talking about one team who deservingly should be placed in that fourth position, is Afghanistan because they've been the better team in terms of how they've defeated teams, in terms of how they played good cricket in this World Cup, the passion. They've done a lot of things right. So let's just see. I mean, this World Cup, the final week is going to be pretty exciting. And that's about it from
yeah.
us. Thank you guys for watching this. And do not forget to join us tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Nagin Derby, as you all know. Big game. Sri Lanka take on Bangladesh. Let's see if the game happens because there's a lot of pollution happening in Delhi right now. So
Correct.
if
And
the
they both
game does
cancel
go
their
on,
practice games as
yeah,
well.
if the game does go on, let's see how long it takes for the players to walk off the field and what all to see. So tomorrow's gonna be a very dramatic game. Nagin, absolutely an episode from the Nagin series is what we're gonna get. So let's wait and watch. I know it's a very inconsequential game, but Sri Lanka would want to get in
Not for
somewhere.
them. Not for them because Bangladesh are still looking for the Champions Trophy spot. Sri Lanka also wouldn't want to slip down because at this point in time, it's still possible. They've had some really bad losses and they have a very
Yeah,
bad net run rate, which is even worse than Bangladesh's, by the way. So if tomorrow
absolutely.
Bangladesh win, it can, it'll become Bangladesh and Sri Lanka will be in the same spot. They both have played 8 games, won two, and lost
Yeah,
six. That is if tomorrow Sri Lanka loses, okay? As of
yeah.
now, Sri Lanka are on top. So that's where Sri Lanka might want to continue winning, and Bangladesh might want to change a few things.
Absolutely. Will Ashwin join commentary after World Cup? I think only Ashwin will be able to answer this. We're not sure what Ashwin will do after the World Cup. But that's about it. Thank you guys once again. Thank you for joining. See you all tomorrow. And this is a very important week in the World Cup. This week is going to decide who's going to stay and who's going to go out and who the four semi-finals will be for the next upcoming week of the World Cup. We are in the business end right now. The World Cup is finally coming to an end slowly. So let's just enjoy while it lasts. Thank you and have a good time, all of you. Bye bye.
Bye, guys.